Hi, Shanna Forrestall here, and I just wanted to talk a little bit today about crisis relief. If you know me at all and you follow my journey, you know that I've worked quite a few of these in the last 8 to 10 years, and starting with Hurricane Katrina and then working some events after that. And one of the reasons that I continue to do the volunteer work that I do is because I feel like every time a major crisis happens, it's really important that we pay attention and that we try to learn from what's happening. This crisis that I'm here helping with in Paradise, the campfire in California, has brought some other things to light that I had not thought of. And most of the crises I've worked have been water related. This one is fire related, which is kind of new to me, new to being a Cali girl. But I just think that it's really important that we start to pay attention to what happens during a crisis, to what happens, how we respond, to see what works, to see what doesn't work, and to try to learn from it. The first thing I wanted to talk about was just keeping a level head. You know, when things happen, it's very easy to get in panic mode and start moving really crazy and have all this frenetic, chaotic energy. What can happen is that then organizations maybe aren't working together, or if organizations become territorial, or their ego gets in the way and everybody wants the credit and doesn't want to share the credit or doesn't want to share the results, then the people that are actually being victimized in that moment are not always helped the most. So it's important that we put people first, and that in every given moment we try to walk in as much love and grace as possible, that we try to walk egoless when we can. But that being said, make sure that stories are told, because that's how we learn for the next time. Preparation, that's one of the things that one of the pastors was talking about that we met with yesterday, and I feel like it's really important. You know, they had a crisis about 1.5 years ago, so they already had 50 cots in their storage. They already had like a little bit of a semblance of a plan because they had to execute one on the fly. And then after that, they thought, we should have a bit of a plan in place. We should have, a volunteer structure. We should have some of these things written down. And because of that preparation, and because of a staff that was kind of already thinking that way and wanting to be ready to help, they were just able to house hundreds of people for weeks, and to be kind of an entry point for people that needed help, and then a conduit for organizations who were bringing in other supplies, and things further down the road. This is what I've seen, is that citizen-led relief is often the most effective relief immediate. It's faster for some neighbor, some stranger down the street, somebody else in the city or the community who wasn't as affected or who wasn't affected at all, to get there and to bring supplies than to get the outside federal help, and that takes a minute. So it's really important that citizens understand your role in a crisis is huge. Like, if you can be aware, of course, be safe, don't do anything crazy. Rescue is the first thing. We rescue everybody. Then relief, which might mean bringing water, washing clothes for people, bringing food supplies, taking care of pets, whatever needs to happen in the immediate. Then as the crisis continues further and we move into recovery, that's when the bigger agencies can step in and do their job. That's when, FEMA gets there and some of the other organizations get there to bring in extra support and supplies. But it is important that the citizen relief get there, that it's organized, it's unified, and that we all do whatever we can in a very calm, loving, and connected way when possible. It's always more effective when we do it together, when people can join together. So we don't want to make it just about one church or about even your church's agenda. It's not about that. It's about, everybody doing what they can, everybody working together, and everybody just contributing to try to solve the problem. The next thing I wanted to talk about was how there can be improvements at every level. The individual response, we're responsible for ourselves. You don't want to do anything selfish. You don't want to do anything that could be dangerous. You don't want to do anything, that doesn't fit what's happening and be for the best of the people involved. I think another thing we want to pay attention to is the response, the local response, state response, and federal response when these things happen. We want to see what worked well, we want to see what didn't work well, and we want to maybe call to task when it's needed our leaders and say, you know what, this did not work, and what can we do better? Or not just say what can we do better, but give suggestions for what can be done better. Our legislators and our leaders are busy doing what they do, and that's governing and doing the things that they do. They may not understand the impact of those decisions on the ground, and they need to hear about it from us after an event, or during an event if it can be changed, and just say, hey, I know you were trying to do this, but it didn't accomplish, or here's a way we could do it better and faster to help more people. And that was another thing we were talking with yesterday with some of the volunteers is like, what have you seen? What works? What doesn't work? What can be done better? And don't be afraid as an experienced volunteer to speak up and to go to your legislator or go to your local government and say, hey, how can we be more prepared next time? What can our church do or our organization or our nonprofit do to be part of the solution to make it easier for our families to recover if something like this happens near us? Citizen-led relief can be very effective, but we have to be smart about it. And I think the way to do that is for, pastors, nonprofit leaders, natural community leaders to learn from what's happened already and to say, you know what, that happened. We did the best we could, but what can we do better? And so that's going to be my journey. It has been, and it's going to be going forward, is how do we find better ways to do this? And if you have, thoughts on that, let's talk about it. Let's converse. Let's talk to our leaders. Let's see what can be done better. And if any of you out there have a way that I can help with that, let me know, because I would love to be on a board or something that develops that. Let's learn from them. Let's listen to what they have to say, and let's learn, and let's just see how relief can be done smarter, better, for the better of everyone involved. Thank you.